everyone, welcome to this episode of Enhanced. Obviously, I'm in the same position that I was in for my last episode of Enhanced because I wanted to talk about a similar area that I discussed in my first video about the depressor angulus oris muscle. I wanted to talk about the marionettes again. So the marionettes, what are they? Essentially what this region here is classified as is the marionette lines. So sometimes they get quite hard and lined. So here and here is usually where you would see those lines really popping up. Oftentimes it's, those 30-year-olds creeping up, 40, 50. That's when we start noticing these harder lines because this jowling is sort of taking a front row seat with our faces because obviously our fat pads, our collagen and everything is coming down in a very oblique fashion. So it's sort of setting down and getting heavier on the nasolabial lines as well as the jowling right here. So what's to be done about these lines? Well, a few things. Number one, I was talking about disc sport in the depressor angulus oris muscle. I think that's a great option if you're sort of worried about that line coming down right here. Fairly inexpensive. You could even start at, 2 or 3 units each side just to get your feet wet with it. But another option is putting a little bit of filler or hyaluronic acid into the marionette lines right here. So essentially what I would do is there's a couple different ways to do this actually. So, don't quote me because it's very individualized, but with a cannula, you could come up here and string in a little bit of filler just to this region. So putting the cannula up and just stringing in a bit, or coming from this area and stringing it in this way. So it's very dependent on who you are, what your face looks like, the aging process, etc. But there are a couple options for the marionette lines. So don't fret, if you're really struggling with your marionette lines, Dysport or Botox to the depressor angulus oris muscle is a great option. But also, of course, a little bit of filler to that region too can go a long way. And it doesn't need to be a full syringe or something crazy. We can just string in a little bit of filler to help support that region a little bit and bump it out. I think that's really quite beautiful on a lot of ladies that I do because I fill marionette lines as much as I fill nasolabial cheeks and lips. So it's a fair amount. The other option, which I wanted to talk about with you, is of course thermage. Thermage is a radio frequency treatment that we do full face, I think neck as well. And essentially what it does is it stimulates collagen to be built, as well as maintaining collagen that is already there. So essentially collagen resides in the dermis. And what it does is it creates more collagen in that area, helping support and pull things softly back, just a soft lift, I would call it, to this region. So if you're struggling with this coming down obliquely into the nasolabial and the marionette lines, essentially thermage will help support and just kind of snug it back a little bit. So that's another option as well. And then of course, I know that I'll probably get a slap on the hand for talking about directly filling the marionette lines as opposed to filling laterally. That's not what I am implying, that you shouldn't fill with filler back here or here to help with this area, because of course, but I also know about instant gratification for people. Some ladies only have $600. We don't live in the States where we have a ton of money, right? Sometimes ladies only have $600 and they're very, very upset with the marionette lines and they want some direct filling. Of course, I need to advocate for having some restructuring, putting some filler here and back here in the lateral portions of the face and helping lift it. But some people don't have a ton of money and they might not want to put the filler back here when they only have $600. They might want some direct filling to this region. And who am I to say that they can't have a little bit of direct filling to that region in conjunction with, say, treating the depressor angulus oris muscle? Obviously, I advocate for the best treatments for you, and we would have that conversation about whether or not it's best to do some lateral filling here or direct filling here, or maybe no filling at all, and maybe it's just thermage that you would need, or perhaps just a little bit of Dysport or Botox in that muscle down there. So at the end of the day, I think what I'm really getting at is that it is customized and individualized for you as the person, but giving you some education and some options in an online forum such as this helps you understand some of the options that are available. So I hope that helped in regards to those marionette lines. I'm wishing you all so much happiness over the holiday season. If you have any questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask. anything. I always get a ton of messages from ladies about just areas or concerns or anything like that, and I love that. So if you're interested in a free consult with Midwest Laser, you can book online at www.midwestlasercenter.com, or you can call the office at 668-5522. We're getting really busy over the holiday season, so don't be upset if you don't get in right away, but we do want to see you. It means a lot to me that you all have booked in, and I'm so thankful over and over and over again to have this job, have this career, and see so many women on a day-to-day basis that I get to help. So again, if you have any questions for me, that's what I'm here for. Stay tuned for more enhanced episodes. I do love to educate, and I do love to talk about many options that we have for our face to keep us looking youthful and beautiful and the best version of self. So I guess I'll see you guys all later, and I hope you're enjoying your holiday season.